What's something that you've done while HRNY and you regret it? When I was young I would ride this huge stuffed bear like a horse. Came out the shower and jumped on it naked and it tickled my nuts so good I just came all over the bear. My first ever nut. I would rush home from school to tickle my balls and just nut and nut and nut on this stuffed bear until one day it disappears. So I start HMPing my pillows the same way and nutting on my pillows then sleeping on them like an animal. My brother walks in one day, shows me a PRNO mag then takes me to the computer and shows me a PRN video. He goes, notice how they clean up after? Among other completely uncensored and straightforward sex talk. Years later we are all drunk at my parents for New Year's. And my brother brings it up. Hey, remember when you would FCK stuffed animals and pillows? I'm like, you guys knew. And they tell me how I would just leave the door open. And they have seen me just clapping bear and pillow cheeks. Not to mention the massive amount of CM stains on black stuffed animal fur. And how they would all laugh until my brother decided to give me the SX talk so my dumbus could figure out that stroking my DCK was the proper way to masturbate and not tickled my little boy balls until completion. Sometimes I still think about it and it makes me shudder in embarrassment. Maybe 15, 20 years ago, still living at home with siblings I thought it would be a great idea to print off a bunch of pictures of close-up vaginas, pin them all over the wall in the downstairs washroom like some serial killer, and spend the day in my vagina room doing whatever. Evidently I left some in the print queue, and they finally printed later when my sister used the computer. All I remember hearing was her yelling, "Oh god, your vaginas are printing. Your vaginas are point printing." Never lived that one down. Mom was also upset about the holes in the bathroom wall. A guy I met at a bar weeks before invited me over to watch some movies. I was extremely HRNY, extremely drunk and extremely bleeding out of my V. He made a move on me. I said I'd love to, but it's the wrong time of the month for it. He just shrugged and said I shouldn't worry, he likes that kind of thing. Cue to him flinging a soaked up tampon out my V, splattering blood everywhere in the process. The SX was good. The murder scene after not so much. Definitely wouldn't agree again. Asked my husband to use the whip on me when I was on my knees. He has terrible aim. He literally whipped my pussy on accident and it was unlike any kind of pain I'd ever felt, and I've given birth 3 times. Edit. I promise I'm not completely without manners. Thanks for all the generous votes and awards, people. My whipped pussy tips its hat to you. Not my experience, but my fiancé told me about the time when he was first learning about jacking off. He used toothpaste as lube to jack off. His reasoning was that it made your mouth tingle, so why not down there? Lol, he said it was the worst decision of his life. Edit. My fiancé asked me to add that the toothpaste was the 90s Aquafresh with the different colors. He also thanks everyone for laughing in his misery. Broke my frenulum. Was in China, rode a train for 2 hours to meet a girl, didn't have Essex, a terrible blowjob, she got tired after a minute then cried cause she missed her ex. You know those silicone ass things they have in Essex shops for like $300? When I was in Montreal in my sophomore year of college, I tried to buy one. My debit card got declined, so I didn't buy it. I got a call from my dad that evening saying someone in Montreal must have stole it from me, and I had to do the talk of shame explaining that I really did do that. A football game was on and had gotten a better TV. Mentioned that to an ex and offered to buy dinner from a place she liked. She ate the food like she hadn't eaten in 3 days and gotten food all over her face. Claims the food was that good. She goes to bathroom to wash and comes out naked. She spreads out on the floor and says to me, I'm 5 feet away and the smell hits me. I say let me go to the bathroom first and I end up puking from the smell. Was living in Spain for about 2 years and there was this beautiful girl from Sevilla I was trying to get with, so me and my best friend whom I was living there with were going to the club with them here and there to work my way in. So one night I got more drunk than usual, and apparently one of her friends, let's just say the one I was definitely not into, noticed and made her move now, due to the abnormal percentage of alcohol in my blood in combination with the fact that I had endured a prolonged dry season while chasing the aforementioned beauty. I decided FCK it and went with it. Now, we get back to the apartment, and I'm ready to get this nut thrown out and shake the onions a bit, but as we start, I realize she's a virgin, and not wanting to spoil her first experience, I continued and concluded not even KOing what her name was. Had a pretty awkward morning after, when reality set in, but at least I found her name as it was the last number I'd saved in my phone book. Phew. We go out with the same group, the same evening, and I finally get my shot at the girl I was chasing. So in front of the first one, I hooked up with her pretty violently, as we'd both apparently had a thing for each other, which is all fine and dandy, except for the fact that her friend was present, witnessed the whole thing, got blackout drunk, fell on the stairs and hit her head in a seeming attempt to drown her sorrows as she'd just given her virginity to the guy that dumped her for someone else and left her hanging and ended up in an ambulance. I had an amazing relationship with my crush, but to this day, 10 years later, I'm still haunted by the fact that I not only took her virginity, but scarred her for life because of a moment of relapse in judgment and misplaced horniness. Despite everything that has happened in my life since getting married and having kids, this particular episode still haunts my dreams because Noon deserves that. Writing this while tipsy, as that is the only way I'd ever share this story, so excuse any grammar spelling related issues. English is not exactly my first language. This'll probably get buried in the rest of the comments, but if you made it this far, thank you in a ho. Me and my friend were supposed to take a visiting foreign professor for drinks. After a couple of beers, the guy told us that he wanted to see some women. We took him to a softcore strip club. After the first beer, the guy said that he wanted something more extreme. Prostitution is legal in my country, and we took the guy to probably the largest bar with sex workers of our city. It was a bizarre place, and after few minutes our reputable visiting academic sealed the deal with the lady. The guy went with the lady to her room and came back after about 15 minutes. Suddenly the guy said that he was tired and wanted to head back to his hotel. On the ride back, the guy started weeping and telling us about his family and giving us advice about why we should love and respect our partners. I had never seen so much post-nut regret in my life. Sad guy.